I will collect a few questions. The gentleman in the blue shirt, followed by yourself. Yes. And the gentleman there. Okay, we'll do those 3 questions first. Yes.
Morning, my name is Francis Hutchinson from the Institute of Southeast Asian Studies. And I would like to ask a question about a hudud and its interpretation with regards to a corruption. You've mentioned stealing, and of course here we have a very clear victim and a very clear perpetrator. But in many cases we just have the perpetrators. So if we're talking about embezzlement, so we see people taking public funds for private use, or we talk about the sale of public licenses for things like importing foreign workers or exporting unreformed palm oil or importing foreign cars. Or what about in circumstances where we see collusion between private entrepreneurs and state authorities with land acquisition, or shall we say the tendering for the provision of public services like solid waste management, water, and so forth, in circumstances.
Dia tanya pasal hudud, just hold on. Dia tanya pasal hudud dalam kes mencuri ada banyak, tapi dalam kes rasuah macam mana? Dalam kes rasuah contoh waktu dalam tender, dalam pelaku dia tidak dapat dikenali, jadi banyak. Okay, you have further question?
No, so would these be classified as hudud, and would PAS prescribe the implementation of hudud punishment for these sorts of cases that are perhaps a little bit removed from traditional understandings of theft, but still we can see that there is, shall we say, an abuse?
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Next question, please.
Yeah.
And keep it brief, please. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum Ustaz. Nama saya Walid. Saya ada sebenarnya 2 soalan. Pertama, apakah masa depan Pakatan Rakyat dengan kerana isu hudud ini, khususnya hubungan antara DAP dan PAS? What is the future of Pakatan Rakyat specifically with regards to the hudud issue affecting PAS's relationship with DAP? Dan yang kedua, apakah respons Ustaz terhadap mereka yang mengatakan, termasuk orang Islam yang mengatakan jika hudud hanya dikenakan pada orang Islam itu adalah situasi yang tidak adil kerana orang bukan Islam ada undang-undang lain, maka ini sudah melanggar maqasid syariah atau telah melanggar keadilan, hukum keadilan di dalam Islam. What is your response to those who say that if hudud is only implemented on Muslims, it is an extremely unjust situation because non-Muslims are subjected to a different set of laws, and this goes against the justice principle in Islam?
Okay, the gentleman. Yeah. I'll take both. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Before I came, I had many questions, but after I listened to it, I have more questions. But
you're only entitled to 1.
Yeah, okay, I'm just going. In fact, I was going to ask the question the first gentleman asked, but I'm going to ask a related question. In that, I was actually watching a video on Brunei's implementation of the Syria law, the Hudud law, and the video says the royal family is exempted from this law. So what happens in Malaysia?
Okay, thank you very much. And then you, sir, and then we'll come back to our guest speaker.
Assalamualaikum. Soalan saya, bagi mereka yang dihukum dan keluarga mereka yang dihukum, adakah sistem kebajikan atau sistem sosial yang akan diimplementasi untuk menolong mereka? Seumpamanya bagi mereka yang telah dipotong tangan, kan? Dan tidak boleh bekerja untuk menyara keluarga mereka. Jadi bagaimana kerajaan akan menolong mereka? So basically for those who have been punished and their families, will there be a welfare system that will be implemented to help them, and what kind of welfare system would that be if there is one? So for example, if one is the convicted has had his hand cut off and is no longer able to work, so how will the government help them and their family?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Terima kasih. Soalan pertama tentang corruption, rasuah. Rasuah tidak termasuk dalam kesalahan hudud.
Corruption is not part of the hudud law.
Dia tak masuk dalam takrif mencuri dan merampak.
It is not defined as stealing and robbery.
Rasuah mengambil harta secara sukarela daripada yang bawa, yang bagi rasuah, yang terima rasuah. dengan cara yang salah.
Actually, unlike stealing and robbery, corruption is actually taking of property and wealth voluntarily.
Dia lebih berkait dengan kerajaan, maka diserah pada kebijaksanaan kerajaan untuk menjatuhkan hukuman.
It is more related to the authority of the government, so it is up to the government to mete out the kind of punishment for corruption.
Ada pun mencuri penyakit individu yang melibatkan masyarakat.
For stealing and robbery is actually an individual disease.
Pada pandangan Islam, penyakit yang sangat kronik yang tak boleh diubat malaikat hukum potong tangan.
For Islam, it is basically a chronic disease, a chronic problem, and the punishment is amputation, cutting of hands.
Mengambil harta secara senyap, mengambil harta secara diam tanpa diketahui oleh tuannya.
Basically, in the case of stealing, the wealth or the property is being taken without the knowledge of the owner.
Mengambil hasil titik peluh kerja orang lain.
It is taking away the wealth and property of other people's work.
Sedangkan dia mampu hidup tanpa mencuri.
Even though the robber or the thief actually has the ability to work.
Ini penyakit yang sangat besar, sangat berat. Sekiranya seorang individu jasadnya sakit, kalau sakit kencing manis sebagai contohnya, kalau sekiranya doktor berpendapat kalau tak dipotong kaki akan melarat pada nyawa dia, maka dipotong. Maka perlu dipotong kaki. Maka tak ada orang kata doktor zalim.
This is a very huge problem, thieving and robbery. So it needs to be managed effectively. Like the case of people with diabetics, when the doctor said that it's no longer safe for you to maintain your arms or your leg, so it needs to be cut off. Similarly, in the case of Hudud, this is a very big, huge disease, so it needs to be cut off from the society.
Ya, kencing manis melibatkan seorang individu. Adapun hudud melibatkan masyarakat. Seorang pencuri, satu kampung, satu bandar hidup dalam keadaan tidak selesa.
Because of the act of one thief, one act of thievery, the whole community becomes unsafe.
Mengikut Islam, tidak ada hukuman yang lain boleh menakutkan. Yang lain tidak berkesan. Contohnya penjara. Kalau di penjara, pencuri ditangkap di penjara, dalam penjara dia makan percuma. Makan percuma, kemudian sekarang penjara ada aircon lagi selesa. Kemudian dia keluar penjara, dia curi balik. Ini perangai yang tak boleh diubah. Yang pertama. Ya.
First, in Islam, there is no other way for us to basically solve the issue of thievery, stealing, and robbery. It is only by the way of hudud. In conventional terms, we may use like the prison terms. Some of the prisons nowadays are already too comfortable for the accused and for the convicted person. So it may not actually provide or instill fear among those who wanted to commit the crime. So hudud is about instilling fear, that fear factor, for them to avoid or for them to not to do stealing and robbery.
Dalam penjara, dia berkawan dengan 10 orang, 50 orang pencuri. Dia berhimpun di penjara, dia boleh buat seminar dalam penjara, boleh buat mesyuarat, boleh tukar fikiran, menambahkan ilmu untuk mencuri lagi.
In prison, people with the same crime, thieves, they can convene and they can discuss ways and means how to basically do even more heinous crimes. But in Islam, this opportunity is not being given to those who are accused and convicted.
Kalau dia di penjara, siapa jaga anak, isteri dia? Anak isteri akan jadi masalah sosial berikutnya.
If the person convicted is being imprisoned, who's going to take care of the welfare of the wife, of the children? This will then become another social problem for the society, for the nation.
Jangan saudara fikir, oleh kerana hari ini di Malaysia lebih kurang dalam soalan saya di Parlimen beberapa tahun yang lalu, dalam 1 tahun 70,000 kes pencurian. Bukan bermakna bila hudud dilaksanakan 70,000 orang akan dipotong tangan. Banyak-banyaklah tangan yang dipotong. Jangan kita fikir begitu. Apa yang berlaku? Kesan psikologi yang sangat mendalam, menggerunkan, menyebabkan pencuri akan berhenti mencuri.
In recent statistics reveal that there are about 70,000 cases of thievery, robbery in Malaysia. We must not think that all these 70,000, I don't know where 70,000, all these convicted person of thievery will be amputated, hence their hands will be cut off. It should not be thought as such a way. But in fact, what Islam wanted to propagate is that it is about instilling that element of fear for persons not to commit any crime. That's what the aims of the Hudud law.
Bagi keluarga dan orang yang dihukum, sekiranya dia seorang yang kaya, tak boleh dibantu oleh kerajaan. Dia betulkan kehidupan dia sendiri. Tak perlu kerajaan bantu. Kalau dia kaya, dia mencuri juga, itu sangat wajar dihukum hudud kepada dia.
If the person who actually committed the crime of stealing came from a wealthy background, the government will definitely not help the person in terms of the welfare after the punishment being meted out. It is something that the person needs to handle himself or herself.
Kalau dia seorang miskin, tak boleh hukum hudud. Saya sebut dalam ceramah saya tadi, sekiranya pendapatan dia tak cukup, maka tak boleh hukum hudud. Terhadap dia kena hukuman ta'zir dan kerajaan wajib menyediakan pekerjaan. Kalau ada majikan, kerajaan wajib memerintah majikan memberi gaji minima yang cukup untuk dia.
If the person who committed the crime came from a poor background, hudud cannot be implemented. It needs to be brought down to the punishment of ta'zir, a more generic punishment. If the person does not have any work, the government needs to provide or needs to ask the employees to provide him or her with a work with a minimum level of salary.
Awal aku kenal dengan dirimu lewat jejaring dunia maya. Kau dan aku saling berbagi cerita.